It's Monday, October 15th, and we have lots to tell you. The government of Guyana today signed a memorandum of understanding on enhanced cooperation and collaboration with the government of Newfoundland and Labrador in the area of oil and gas development. Tiffany Rogers has her first report.
Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin said building long-standing partnership is important in the development of the oil and gas sector.
I think it becomes all the more important that we benefit from the experiences of those who have done this before. So with that in mind, I am grateful for the opportunity to share experiences with the government of Newfoundland and Labrador, as well as the private sector.
The MOU was signed with the Minister of Natural Resources from Newfoundland and Labrador, Simeon Cody. Minister Cody also stressed the importance of partnership in maximizing opportunities in oil and gas.
I know that working together, I know that one of the things that we in Newfoundland and Labrador did in our early days of developing our offshore oil and gas industry was work with joint ventures and others that had had that experience, and so that we could develop and do that knowledge transfer. And that's what we're here today, to work with you. To give you the experiences that we have, so that you can build and grow your opportunity here in Guyana.
A working committee will be established as part of implementing the 3-year MOU. A Canadian oil and gas trade mission of about 50 persons from the government of Newfoundland and Labrador's offshore oil and gas industry are currently on a trade mission here in Guyana. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
President David Granger, during his recent visit to East Berbice Quarantine, reassured that sugar workers will soon receive their remaining severance payments. Stacey Carmichael tells us more.
Let me tell you this. At the beginning of the year, we said severance pay will be paid in 2 parts. One part in the first half of the year, and the second part in the second half of the year. Next week, we're going to the National Assembly to pass supplementary provisions for payment in the second half. Sugar workers are going to get their severance pay. I say so. We are not going to deny sugar workers $1 of their severance pay.
President Granger said when the coalition administration took office, a decision was taken to reform the sugar industry as it was operating on subsidies.
So we did not kill the sugar industry. We saved the sugar industry. Because we saved Albion, the main East Berbice Quarantine estate. We saved Blairmont, the main West Berbice estate. We saved Ifla, the main West Demerara estate. Some of the estates that were not profitable had to go. And we are going to work with the unions, NASI and GAU, to make sure that the workers who cannot find employment in the estates are given a soft landing. That is, we will try to provide employment opportunities so that nobody has to suffer.
The head of state made it clear that government has no interest in undermining Region 6, given its importance to the country's overall development. He said at the end of the restructuring, there will be 3 estates in East Berbice, West Berbice, and West Demerara. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamootoo and his wife Sita Nagamootoo attended the World Tamil Economic Conference in Pondicherry, South India. The Prime Minister himself, of Tamil ancestry, joined other world business leaders at the event, which took place during October 12th and 15th. Prime Minister Nagamootoo delivered remarks highlighting the relationship between India and Guyana and the potential for further investment in Guyana. Sinigo Thorne was at the first in a series of consultations to help public authorities understand the purpose of the proposed draft debarment and suspension regulations. Here's that report.
These sessions will introduce stakeholders to the draft debarment and suspension regulations and obtain feedback on areas important to the effective functioning toward the public procurement system in keeping with the Public Procurement Act of 2003. Chairperson of the Public Procurement Commission, Carol Corbin, explained, while there are references in the Procurement Act to the suspension and debarment of errant contractors, the required regulations for the debarment process was not included.
No action could have been taken over these years to actually debar or suspend contractors and suppliers, because of course the relevant supporting regulations do not exist at this time in terms of being approved and included in the legislation.
Guyana's procurement entities are responsible for the management of over $110 billion. Therefore, PPPC's Chief Executive Officer Sion Nobel said public procurement must be viewed as a business endeavor.
Public procurement must therefore be viewed as a business endeavor, requiring actions to protect the public purse. And these actions can involve suspending or debarring individuals and companies who are not responsible enough in their relationship with public procuring entities, and therefore being unable, temporarily or otherwise, to do business with government.
In 2016, the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board provided a copy of the draft debarment and suspension regulation to the Commission for its review. Once the process of consultation is completed, the draft document will be presented to the National Assembly. Sonika Thorne, InfoHub.
A major manhunt has been launched by members of the security forces for 3 prisoners who escaped the holding bay of the Lusignan prison. Details in this report.
The escape took place at about 4 a.m. The escaped prisoners are remanded murder accused Travis Evans, age 23, of Seafield Sophia, Sudish Dial, 23, remanded for break and enter and larceny and escape from custody, and Dexroy Pollard, 29, remanded for break and enter and larceny of Wales Village. Director of Prisons Gladwin Samuel says the prisoners escaped by scaling the walls of the East Coast Demerara prison.
I must mention that these prisoners would have escaped in very close proximity to a number of ranks who were performing security details in terms of being deployed in the tower to overlook what is happening at the holding bay. While there were several ranks mounted in the 4 towers, the escape occurred in close proximity to Tower 2 and 3. Which had adequate amount of staff, but from observation so far and the little investigation that was done so far, it is clear that the ranks were not alert.
Samuels is calling on the public to remain calm and report any sighting of the escaped prisoners.
All efforts are being made to ensure that these persons who are currently at large are recaptured. From their known records, none of them should pose too much of a security risk to the public. However, what I would like to encourage the public to do is to feel free to call the nearest police station or 220-4173. That number you can get at any time as it relates to any sighting of these escapees, and all efforts will be made by the search teams in terms of going to those areas to effect the rearrest of those persons.
Meanwhile, the Director of Prisons says the authorities are still making efforts to recapture Paul Goraya, who escaped the same facility more than a year ago. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
The inaugural Green Guyana Expo is almost here at the National Stadium Tarmac, October 18 to 20. Come and experience green living, green technologies, green agriculture, and so much more. Gates will be open 2 p.m. daily, and admission and secured parking is absolutely free. Enjoy live entertainment throughout the event with food and drinks and exciting games for the kids. Come out, learn green, go green. Let's experience our future together.
Welcome back. The first official stakeholder engagement on the National Mineral Sector Policy Framework was today hosted at the Cara Lodge Hotel. Here's that report. Head of the 3-member National Mineral Sector Policy Framework Committee, Sherwood Lowe, said one of the requirements for drafting the national mineral policy is the inclusion of stakeholders in the industry.
The Ministry of Natural Resources did not want it to be a top-down document. The idea was to ensure that as many voices as possible can make an input. So today is part of that process of public consultation.
Consultations will run until mid-November.
So by then, we hope that we could have a final document that everyone is comfortable with. It's a discussion paper, and we're emphasizing that. There's nothing here is cast in stone, and therefore, based on the feedback and the discussions, the document will be modified.
Representatives from 10 organizations, including the Environmental Protection Agency, Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission, Ministry of Finance, the Green State Development Secretariat, and the Guyana Women Miners Association, were present at the workshop. Several participants lauded the initiative.
So I think the workshop is a demonstration of the will of the people of Guyana to engage with stakeholders to get their feedback on any issues and documents and plans that are of national importance.
It's a good approach. Of course, before you have a policy presented, you need to engage with stakeholders, key players. So we are happy to be a part of this process.
Crystal Stahl now tells us that Minister of Public Security Kemraj Ramjatan on Friday last commissioned a modern Mackenzie police station.
The new building is part of the $1.18 billion Guyana Police Force's remodeling program made possible by the Inter-American Development Bank through its Citizen Security Strengthening Program. Minister Ramjatan urged that the building be used for its purpose, which is to provide service to the residents.
The modern design adopted for the rehabilitation or rebuilding of the 12 police stations support the notion of putting victims and witnesses first. We have to prioritize because they're the people who ought to be the beneficiaries of a good police station.
Commissioner of Police Leslie James said the Guyana Police Force is very appreciative of the strides taken by the government to ensure improvement of the force's standards. Country manager of the IDB, Sophie Makanin, noted that IDB will continue to support institutional capacity building and citizen security initiatives.
Rehabilitation or new construction designs were done in such a way that victims of gender-based violence can report to the police station discreetly through a separate entrance, which facilitates the division between the victim and the aggressor.
The commissioning of the building also saw the appointment of the new E-Division Commander, Senior Superintendent Linen Lord. The facility will also serve as the police headquarters for E-Division, Upper Demerara, Upper Berbice. 12 police stations have already been completed under the program. Reporting for InfoHub, Crystal Stahl.
Community health workers from various villages in Region 9 have received toolkits to ensure improved antenatal care as the Minister of Public Health continues to fight against maternal and child death. Renetta LaFleur has the details.
The over $2 million worth of kits were made possible through an Inter-American Development Bank $8 million loan, which was granted to the government in 2017. At a presentation ceremony on Thursday last, Minister of Public Health, Valda Lawrence, said the government is taking a stand against maternal deaths.
A woman dying in childbirth or even after giving birth is not a good thing for any community, for any family, and much more so for any country. And we are saying that enough is enough. We have had enough deaths for which we are not proud of, and so we are taking action to ensure that we do something about it.
The community health workers who were happy to receive the toolkits completed their training earlier in the year and returned to serve their communities.
I feel very pleased with my toolkit that I received, since I didn't have any for the past months, and I think it will benefit me as well as my community because I didn't have for the last while.
I would like to say thank you so much for handing over the toolkits for us that would reduce maternal death in my community.
Regional Executive Officer Kerwin Ward also expressed gratitude for the intervention and implored the CHWs to work assiduously to eliminate maternal deaths in Region 9. Renetta LaFleur for InfoHub.
Global Hand Washing Day is being observed today under the theme, Clean Hands, a Recipe for Health. It is an opportunity to design, test, and replicate creative ways to encourage people to wash their hands with soap at critical times. Hand washing is an important part of keeping food safe, preventing diseases, and helping children to grow strong. You are encouraged to wash your hands thoroughly before preparing meals, consuming food, and after using the washroom. And remember to eat lighter and leaner by choosing fewer high-calorie foods, including refined sugars and fat from animal sources to reduce your risk of developing cancer. That's all for this evening. Connect with us on WhatsApp, social media, and our website at dpi.gov.gy. We leave you now with your bridge and weather reports. Goodbye.